It is 8 p.m. on Wednesday, so it means it's time for Sidebar. We're back for another installment of the show at 10 p.m. by the way, today with a power panel of politicians that is discussing the issues that divide us. And from tonight's show, we'll get your tweets scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Am I saying the right place? It's like somewhere here. They'll be scrolling here. Yes, just keep your eyes over here. So tell us what you think about the topics and the guests. Use the hashtag Sidebar and your tweets might just appear on the air while the show is underway. First though, let's take just a minute to review the past few days.
Supreme Court is made up of 7 judges. The discretion of 7 individuals, however wise, can neither represent nor substitute the voice of 15 million people.
It is his right to go to court na tunagojea maamuzi wa court.
I, Laboso Joyce Cherono,
mimi ni citizen ya Bomet. Na mimi ninataka kazi iendelee. Sasa wewe hutanipata mimi nikisumbuana na wewe. Wewe endelea na kazi kuanzia leo, songa mbele.
I, Ann Mombi Waigoro.
Salamu nyingi ya pongezi kutoka rais na kutoka kwangu na kutoka familia nzima la Jubilee kwenu watu wa Kirinyaga.
All right, let me now bring out my panel. The first time they've all been together on the show, so welcome everybody, welcome. I hope you like the tea, the mandazi, the Buddha, all of that. Daisy Amdany, Gabriel Muthama, scheaffer okore, got it right, and Dr. Richard Bosire. We have a lot to talk about, plenty. Did you guys see the Business Daily front page today? If you did not, one-term MPs will leave with 18 million shillings, each of them, as a pension, 18 million. And that's just the one-term MPs. There are 196 MPs who are not re-elected. So that brings your bill as a Kenyan taxpayer to a nice little 3.7 billion shillings. Incidentally, if you are an MP and you served for 2 terms, they are guaranteed 125,000 shillings per month for the rest of their life. As you marinate on that, there is more. Homa Bay MP-elect Gladys Wanga, she had a press conference today and she opposed the Salaries and Remuneration Commission's July 10 removal of their sitting allowances and mileage allowances. And then on NTV today, her Kiambu counterpart, my old boss Gabriel Muthama, supported her stance.
A mission to demean the legislative arm of government. There is a mission to demean members of parliament and reduce them to beggars, and perhaps like in the 90s expect them to go to the executive every Friday begging for handouts to be able to go back to their constituencies. And this will not happen under our watch at the Parliamentary Service Commission.
Let's use the right procedures to slash and add, but let's not play hide and seek games.
So you're going to support this move?
Definitely, yes. I want to be paid well. I worked. I fought it out to be a member of parliament. I campaigned. I used my resources. I want to be paid well. I want to be honored for who I am, for what I have been able to achieve.
All right, you're shaking your head, Daisy. Go for it.
You know, there's something fundamentally wrong with the psyche of people that call themselves leaders in this country. Just listening to the last statement that the woman rep-elect of Kiambu has made, that she campaigned and that she used her resources and she wants to be paid what she is worth.
What is wrong with that?
No. What is she worth? What is she worth? Because to raid the public purse under the guise of what you assume yourself to be worth, raiding the public purse, instead of going in there to actually contribute your own resources, your talents, your giftings, to be able to create an enabling environment for other Kenyans. But the first thing on their mind is about the money. And you know, for me, the saddest thing about this, that this is the second time that the members of parliament are doing this, because this was the first order of business with the 13th parliament.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Gladys Wanga was also the one who was leading the charge in 2013. So that it is the women reps who are being used to become the face of the greed and callousness that has come to characterize the leadership. And on this one, I am with President Kenyatta. When he said this, he said public service is not a place to come to become rich. It is a service. So if you're not ready to offer yourself as a servant of the people, then don't get into it. Nobody asked Wamushomba to use her resources. She did, and that's the problem that we have today. That people see leadership as a one-way ticket to instant riches and living large. And that has to stop. And I think on this one, as Kenyans, we must rise up. Because you've seen, there is no party affiliation.
Right.
There's no tribal affiliation. On this one, they are one. There is no even gender. Instead of them worrying about how we are going to meet the gender principle, that parliament is unconstitutional, that there are so many challenges that we went into campaigns with. This country is facing a food crisis. This country is facing an economic crisis. Nurses are still on strike, hot on the heels of a 100-day doctor strike. And the first thing on their mind is their salaries. Shame on them.
Dr. Bosire, Gladys Wanga says, you want to make us beggars, that we have to go back and ask for favors.
Kenyans are beggars.
I don't know where she's coming from. Where did she go to a job that she thinks she will be a beggar? I don't know how she will determine her worth. We have professors in universities teaching people with PhDs, people who have experienced 30 years experience in research and in academics, but they're paid peanuts. I mean, I don't know how you determine your worth. In fact, SRC has done them a favor. It has done them a favor. It's still their salaries are up there. I thought the first thing they would think is, what is the legislative agenda for this country?
They've not even been sworn in, by the way.
Basic. What is the legislative? I would wish that they could now be drumming and saying that these are the issues that this country has to address. The issues that this leadership that has been elected should address, rather than telling us that it is money. We don't start work with money. But at least at the end of the month is when someone will say, I need to be paid.
Okay, Scheaffer, you know, I was talking about the Business Daily front page, and I've got this right now. There's the one-time MPs were getting 18 million. So that's going to cost us already something like 3 billion shillings. So that's out there. If you've just served for 2 terms, you've got 125,000 shillings guaranteed for the rest of your life. And then these new ones were coming in. Gadoni Wamushomba has not even been sworn in. She's already complaining about her pay.
I think it is ludicrous, and these are all lunatics, because how in your normal sense of self are you thinking that you came in as a member of parliament, your first call to duty? You haven't been sworn in, like you said. You're talking about, I need to be paid honorably. Let's just talk about being honorable for one moment. And they need to understand this, and this goes for all of the leaders who are thinking like they're thinking now. There is nothing about honor without the fact that it is a role, not a title. You do not talk about, I am an honorable member, and you have not done one damn honorable thing. You don't do that. And for me, it infuriates me, because it is the thing we fight about, women representation. We are lacking that even now. And you're talking about money, and you're talking about you want to be paid something that is honorable to you in a country where we still cannot maneuver if it rains a little bit, in a country where people cannot afford food, in a country where 40-something% is unemployed, and you're a woman, and now we all agree there's no NASA, there's no Jubilee, we are all talking about money. This is nonsense. Who are these people, by the way?
Okay, Gabriel, Muhammad Ali, the MP-elect from Vita, has said, I, Muhammad Ali, do not support any move to increase my salary and that of my fellow elected members of parliament. I have fought for equality and fairness all through my career, and my first move as a parliamentarian will not be to enrich myself. He is in the minority, because a lot of the new MPs are already supporting this.
Actually, that's a good thing, and probably he's getting it right. Let me start from where Scheaffer left. And I think you're talking about doing honorable things. Being a member of parliament should not be, and I think people bought into a lie, it should not be a career. Because if you look at the amount of money that these people will make out, you're looking at 18 million. Scheaffer, honestly, if you look at it, it's like an investment. It's more than an investment. Yes. It's, you know, it's where you put in money, you know, hoping to reap something. That is what I'm reading from here. So they've called it right, these two ladies, that, you know, there are so many issues in parliament right now that should be the focus of debate. But what do these people start by doing? Talking about salaries. I think we need to take a cue from one of the brightest men in our country, the late Nelson Mandela. And I call him one of the brightest men because he is the only person who realized it is not about a career, it's about serving people. When people have elected you into an office, into a place of honor, that is exactly what you need to do. You need to work for them, and when the time comes, you retire with honor and grace. And that is what something that is lacking, Larry. So if you look at what Mandela did and what he showed us, it is that it is not the term of office that determines how people will treat you later.
Right.
It's how the credibility and how you serve. It's not about longevity. It is, I am leaving this place with honor, having served, even if it's for one term, having shown people this is the direction to go. I think, in my own opinion, and where I'm seated, we have started this parliament in the wrong foot, with the wrong attitude, and I don't think if this is the kind of shenanigans we are going to have starting in, we've started in the wrong place.
Exactly. Our protest aside, does it even make any sense that we're complaining here? Because these people make the laws. They will tell Sarah Serem, like they have done before, no, we disagree with this, we'll just change the laws.
But this is where the Kenyans need to rise up. Exactly. Remember, I like the term that is used in Kiswahili in reference to members of parliament. They are called wakilishi. They are representatives of the people. They are not representatives of themselves. And this is where Kenyans need to be outraged, because we have witnessed the tyranny of parliament. You know, not tyranny of numbers, but the tyranny, a dictatorship in parliament, where the parliamentarians literally ride roughshod over the citizenry, and even hold hostage. You remember that one of the things that they had said the last time before they managed to, first of all, they threatened Sarah Serem with the sack after heaping insults upon her and calling her totally unqualified. But then they blackmailed the executive and said, we will not pass any of your budgets until we get our money. And so eventually, I remember it's the deputy president who had to call them and you know, negotiate with them at his in his residence to come to some sort of understanding. But why this, when we have already set a standard that what we are looking for are men and women of honor who can come and actually set the country on a specific path with a sense of duty. These people lack duty, which means that, you see, you listen to what Gladys Wanga said. She said that MPs are going to be reduced to beggars, going to the executive to get handouts, which means for them, they actually see being in parliament as a cash cow. And you know, they have led the onslaught. Remember, we have 47 assemblies that are also waiting to make their charge on the exchequer. So at what point are we going to address the pertinent issues concerning Kenyans? So as Kenyans, we need to rise up collectively, and we must come up with a way of reining in these legislators to stop them.
Actually made it easy to recall your MP now. You don't have to go through the, you know, the long, tedious way of or process of recalling back your MP. Can people start thinking around that, and we can have people plugged in? Because this is important.
I have to take a break, so if you're making a final comment, 10 seconds only, Gabriel.
And in finality, from what they said, you see the executive, actually, the one they are saying they will be reduced to, the executive has a problem with the whole salary thing. You remember the president came and read it in parliament and said, and I was concerned because Larry didn't know about this, and I think it's not feigning ignorance, but when he said 2% of these people make away with almost 50-something% of our revenue, it is shocking.
All right. Shall we leave it there? Incidentally, you're talking about the issues in the country about when it rains. This is a picture on Accra Road in Nairobi today. Our cameraman, Robert Gishira, took that. And this is Accra River, if you like. This is another.
That's a good one.
This may be a tributary for. You know, there's a reason why downtown Nairobi is called River Road, because it's a literal river.
River anytime.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will talk about those secession calls by certain people. What does my panel think about it? Stick around.